Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to my Jurassic World Evolution 3 park build. So I'm just showing you off a few things that I built off screen and updated off screen. So here we have like a chain link fence where the Proceratosaurus are kept just to stop people from throwing things into the enclosure, because I thought once I'd finished like doing the voiceover for the last video, I was like, people could probably throw things in there, and they would throw things in there because that's what people are like. So I yeah, put a fence on that. Also the fence around the Asian garden, that's all been done, and then I built some fencing around past the Guanlong enclosure and also up towards the gate which the jeeps would go through when they're monitoring the dinosaurs or whatever. Yeah, I'm really happy with all these new pieces, and it looks quite good in the end, I think. We then come over to the Edmontosaurus and Styracosaurus enclosure that I built, and we have this big stone monument. I don't even know what you call it, like a little mountain thing. And I've put some dinosaur statues around it, so there's a couple of velociraptors there, and then on the other side I have some Pachycephalosaurus. It's just something that the guests can look at, and it makes the park more interesting. A bit of variation and stuff is always welcome. I need to add a fence to that bit there, which is why I was like highlighting it. But other than that, I haven't really done much, apart from the lighting, which I'm going to show you now. So I just added some lights there just to highlight the statues, and then there's the big logo at the top there, which looks really good. Like I said in the last episode, the lighting in this game is really good. And then we have that one there with the Pachycephalosaurus. But yeah, just placing regular street lights down as well, and in the backstage area I put some really bright white lights that look more clinical and like security based, if that makes sense, because they wouldn't make it look all cozy and nice because it needs to be all well lit or whatever. But yeah, it also highlights the difference when you're looking from like a bird's eye point of view. It makes them look a lot more different, which is good to separate your park. But that's pretty much everything I got up to off screen, so we'll get into the actual speed build now, and yeah, here we go. So as you saw in the thumbnail, I built a sauropod viewing platform. This is an idea I had like quite a while ago. Yeah, I finally got around to doing it, and it's probably the best thing I've built in this game so far. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. There's a few things I've changed down the line, and that's the size of the enclosure. I might stretch it out behind the mountain a bit so the dinosaurs have somewhere to hide. So you see where I've just walled that off, like literally I'd cut that bit out, and then behind the mountain I'd have another like plain grazing area, because it felt a bit too small once all the dinosaurs were in. But other than that, still really happy with it, and really happy with the buildings and stuff that I put on top. So yeah, the park's coming together now. I'm getting more into the groove with the game, especially with like the building tools and stuff. I know I've been complaining about them a lot, but I'm slowly getting used to them, so when the fixes come, I'm sure that'll be a really good weight lifted off my shoulders. You might notice a difference in the background music as well, so I've got some Roller Coaster Tycoon soundtrack going on. This is the Jurassic style it really reminds me of when I was a kid. I remember it was Christmas or my birthday or something, I'm pretty sure it was Christmas though. My nan bought Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 for me, and that was like the first park builder game I ever had. So that pretty much kick-started the love for all of this. So it's good to come back to your roots, isn't it? So I just thought I'd add this music as a bit of nostalgia, plus it's got a really good soundtrack actually for a game that came out in the 90s. But yeah, just like a bit different. There's still some Jurassic World Evolution soundtrack in here, but sometimes it's nice to have a change, isn't it? But as you can see here, just putting a platform on top of the cliff edge thing. Building a path around there which would lead on to other exhibits and stuff. I'm thinking to the left, where the path goes all the way down, there's a little plateau peninsula thing. I've probably put some sort of carnivore there, large carnivore. I'm not too sure which one yet. Swaying towards Albertosaurus or Allosaurus maybe? That's what my gut instinct's telling me at the moment, but know me, it could change. If you have any suggestions, let me know. But yeah, here we go, getting on with the shed maintenance area for this feeding area. I wanted it to look quite rustic and wooden, so I put the wooden base there. And then I placed two little huts, which we used for storage, where they'd store all the food and just other bits that they can use to maintain, like the feeding area. one of my top tips for creating buildings is using different like wall types and stuff. So as you can see on the bottom, I've used that, I don't even know what it's called, but it's like one of the wooden walls, and then on the roof I used like the planked wood, just for that variance. And you can add like a trim in between where they meet together just to make it look a bit better. Another thing is try not to make your buildings too blocky, which I've fallen into the trap of here. And by that I mean you can add little lower portions of the building to attach to certain walls and stuff. It doesn't really make sense, but I know what I'm on about in my head. What I'm trying to say is there should be tiers to a building. So there's like a lower base floor, then you can build a floor above that's slightly smaller or something. You probably might not understand what I'm talking about, but if I do another building in the future I'll probably mention it. But yeah, back to this, the two little huts. I did attach it with a little gantry thing, and that'd be used as like a cover. I'll show you that in a bit, you'll see it. But here I was just looking for some wooden posts. Couldn't find anything there or on the gantries, but I searched wood on the actual full menu and I found these really cool trim pieces that I used, and I'm really glad that we have pieces like this because it makes things so much more interesting. When you add like pillars and stuff, I always do that on the corners of my buildings. There'll always be a pillar. It might be a habit I need to break out of, but yeah, I just find it makes things look a lot neater. While looking for all the pieces, I found these really cool awnings. I couldn't find them before, but just searching wood, they like came up. They just help to add a bit of depth to the building. I did actually mean to put posts on like the corners of them, as like supporting posts, but I completely forgot to do that. I might do it down the line, I might not. They look supported enough as they are, but I just thought it'd add a bit more depth. Also those trim pieces, they look a bit safari-like and jungle-like, which I was really happy with. And I was just looking for generic doors here. I wanted to something to look a bit beaten down, but I didn't really like the really rusty ones, so I just used the generic basic ones. I then added these shutters. I'm so happy you can change the colour of them to make them nice and boring, because I don't really like the blue and yellow ones. They look a bit too thematic, so yeah, just nice plain and grey. They'd be used for like the ATVs where they drop stuff off or whatever from the bottom of the hill to the top. Just generic storage buildings. Like I say, guests wouldn't be able to go in here. This is for like the staff. I still wanted to make it nice to look at though, because the guests would see these buildings, and yeah, it just helps making the park a bit more realistic, and it creates a bit more of a focal point on the top of the hill rather than leaving it completely blank. I thought it wouldn't have looked very good. I forgot we had the resizing tool in this, because I was like really struggling to find a piece like an awning for that small door, but I forgot you could resize things, so that was a bonus. And then put this gantry thing, which would be like a cover, so then the staff could walk from one of the doors on one side of the building to the other building without getting wet if it was raining, because obviously it's a tropical island and there would be a lot of tropical storms and stuff. So yeah, just a bit of shelter is always good to add, just to keep your staff protected. You can see there the advanced move tools playing up for me again. I think in order to make it work, because it started working again, you need to add it to the building you're currently using. It's a really awkward system. I'd rather it be like Planet Coasters, where you can just move things on the axis as it is without adding it to a building or whatever. Whether it'll be fixed down the line, fingers crossed it is. But I feel like I might have found a way around it, hopefully. So that might stop the complaints about that, because I feel like I've actually found a way you can actually move things. But yeah, keep an eye out, because my thoughts might change in the future, depending if it works again or not. But yeah, just placing all the clutter and stuff now. There's some buckets there which guests would be able to use to actually feed the dinosaurs. So you'd grab a bucket full of food, and then you could feed the actual sauropods, which is a really cool idea actually. Whether it'd be allowed in real life or not. You can feed giraffes at zoos, it's not much different, just a bit larger and scalier really. I then placed a fence around like the wooden platform, just obviously because this is on like a cliff top, just to like protect people and the staff. There is a lot of like cliff that I've left exposed, I will be adding fences and stuff, but you don't really want to see me placing fences, so I'll probably do that off screen. There are still some bits I'm a bit unhappy with. I don't like the cliff faces, they look all too jagged. I didn't really know what to do about that. So I could cover them up with foliage or something, but we'll see down the line. But yeah, I really do like the fences in this game. I like how you get all the different sizes, so you can make things like I have there with like the corners. So yeah, it all looks really neat. I then got a bit angry with the path because it was like curved over the edge of the cliff, and I had a brainwave and placed some of the asphalt, which is really handy. And also it sort of extends the platform out so the dinosaurs can get a bit closer. Unfortunately, guests can't really feed the dinosaurs from up here, but it's the thought that counts, isn't it? As long as it looks good and people can understand what it is, it works. Even if it isn't functional. Yeah, I'm still really happy with how it turned out. I was looking for a fence and I just went with this wooden one again. I think this is going to be one of my new favourite pieces. So here we go, just grabbing more of the buckets, and they would be theoretically full of food. I guess could obviously like take one and feed the sauropods. I then added that gentle giant thing just for a bit of tacky theming. And then I made this sign. It was going to say sauropod feeding, but you couldn't make the font small enough, unfortunately, so it just says feeding. And I put a brachiosaurus skull on the little circle at the top of the sign, and it does the job at the end. I also added that Sauro salad sign, as you can see in the background there on the fence. Whether that stays or not, it depends whether I change my mind. When I built it, I thought it looked alright, but now I'm looking back and I think it looks a bit tacky, so I might remove that in the future. But then I thought this big pad up here looked really empty, so I placed some picnic benches, because how cool would that be? Like, have all these benches and you could just sit on one and just watch the sauropods walk past and stuff. As you see in the cinematics at the end, you'll see how cool that actually looks, so look forward to that. But yeah, really happy with this little area at the top of the hill, and like I say, probably the best thing I've done in this game. And yeah, I'm just glad that I'm feeling a bit more comfortable with the game. As you can probably tell, I'm not ranting as much, which is probably really refreshing for you guys, because that's what I've been doing in most of the videos recently. But it's only because I care about the game and I want it to be the best it can be. But yeah, just placing some benches here as well, where like the mums and dads can sit while their kids feed the sauropods. Although you'd probably want to be supervised, because they could probably definitely lift the child up and drop them into the enclosure if left unattended. We don't want another Harambe incident, do we? So here we go, adding my favourite of the sauropods now, the Patagotitan. I really like the design of this dinosaur. We also had Brachiosaurus and Dreadnoughtus, as well as some Iguanodon. I don't really show them releasing out of the hatchery, because it gets a bit boring, I suppose. You get to see all the dinosaurs in the cinematic at the end anyway, so you're not really missing anything. I did want to see this Patagotitan release though, and I only realised it has like cloven hoofs? It's like got really weird feet. Yeah, like actual hoofs, which I suppose is realistic, but I never realised that. Just ignore that in the top right corner. That didn't happen, you didn't see that? What a shot there of the sun in the background. That looks incredible.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome our Patagotitan to the park.
So back to the hatchery, adding a Brachiosaurus. I wanted a nice green colour for those, typical sauropod colour. Like if you used to draw a dinosaur as a kid, you'd probably colour it in green. It's just a typical dinosaur colour, isn't it? And I thought it looked really nice. As you can see, I'm on the first person view there, and looking into the enclosure, it looks wicked. You get a better shot at the end, but yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's all turned out. Then we had the Dreadnoughtus. I decided to add the Dominion version. I do like the original one, but I just think that Dominion one's a lot nicer. I then got to work on adding the Iguanodon, probably one of my favourite dinosaurs to be fair. Nice little dinosaur from Britain, so gotta love it. It's a shame we don't have Polycanthus to go with it. Yeah, they were scrapped from the game, but I'm sure they'll be added in a future update like Frontier said. But here we go for the live portion of the video, just before the cinematics. So we have our little Patagotitan juvenile, and I added a juvenile Brachiosaurus as well. There's no Iguanodon babies, but I might add them in the future maybe, or maybe I won't at all, because I don't want to go overkill with all the juveniles. So yeah, just these two for now. Yeah, really happy with this enclosure. Like I said, I might extend the enclosure out because it felt a bit too cramped once I added the dinosaurs in. But yeah, we'll see as we go down the line. Obviously, if you have any name suggestions, please comment them below. I do appreciate your feedback, and it'd also be really appreciated if you could like and maybe subscribe. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it's really appreciated, and hopefully we can grow this channel into something a lot bigger. Look at that Patagotitan just running past the Iguanodon. I do love that Dominion Iguanodon design though. The Dominion Iguanodon's so much better than the Frontier Iguanodon, I have to admit. But that pretty much finishes this video off. Obviously we have the cinematics coming up, so stick around for that. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.